It was early summer in 1961 when we gathered at Lane Whiff's house to talk about plans for our upcoming movie, The Battle of the Bootleg Barrons. And it was starring Frank Khalil and Nick DeGrazia, a couple of locals who had a lot of popularity. Frank Khalil was the popular DJ for the local Tucson market, and he agreed to take part in our movie. And so we had a great time working with him and Nick DeGrazia. Nick is the son of the famous Ted DeGrazia, who was a local Tucson artist who had gained quite a fame for himself. And so the gang was gathered. This was a group that I had worked with for a few years through high school, and I had graduated in 1957, but was still working with these guys and gals because they were all interested in making movies. So we started our planning and getting the details together of what we needed to do, where we needed to go, and the things that we were borrowing. It was amazed how the Tucson market had cars for us to use of the old antique type, and we had the use of a nightclub called the Blind Pig Club, but we were very fortunate that there were a lot of people who wanted to help the teenagers enjoy time working together on projects that actually were fun for the whole community. And Tucson was in the movie business. A lot of movies were made in Tucson. Hollywood came, and in fact they were part of the old Tucson Set that was built in the 30s. In this shot, I'm giving directions just after a comical portion of the movie was shot, in which the street cleaner who was cleaning up at the train station accidentally turned around and knocked out one of the big bosses who's laying on the sidewalk there. That train station is a historic spot in Tucson, and it was chained off for future use, but we were able to get access with city permission to be able to do the shooting that we needed for the gangsters, one of the gangsters arriving on train with the important stash of cash that wanted to take it away from another gang. That's Lane Whiff behind the camera. His dad was generous enough to buy him a 16mm Bolex camera, which was the top of the line camera. We were able to do the type of shooting that was high-end compared to what was available at that time. Just a wonderful part of history to remember. As you can see in the top left corner, that is Nick DeGrazia. And Nick was playing one of the Bootleg Baron bosses, and he was explaining to his guys that he wasn't going to take any more crap from the other bootleg boss who was trying to take his territory in this town. And his girlfriend was below there dancing at the Blind Pig Club, and the band and orchestra was all part of provision that the Blind Pig Club provided for us. And it was an enjoyable time. They had fun providing kind of a Coca-Cola party for us on a Saturday afternoon, where we were filming the scenes that we needed for the nightclub scenes, and obviously had to look like we were serious booze drinkers and so on, but we were all just teenagers having fun. In the upper right-hand corner, you can see just the back end of one of the cars, one of the old cars that the Antique Auto Club provided for us, and in that car is Frank Khalil. And the picture in the right lower corner, part of the police force and the detective that was sent out with his staff to try to put an end to this battling of the bootleg barons and to completely eliminate the bootlegs that were going on in his jurisdiction. My love of making movies comes all the way back from my first time experience it at 7 years old. My father bought an 8mm camera, and from the very first time that I was in any movies was when I had my communion. My dad shot the communion at the church we were attending, and that was the first movie that I was in. And I guess without realizing it all these years, I never realized how much my dad influenced me in the enjoying movie making and being part of that. And over the years, I've done a lot of work, including news reporting for WTOP television right after the Army. In fact, in the Army, I was a photo lab technician for the 1st Military Intelligence Battalion at Fort Bragg in North Carolina back in the from 62 to 64. And during that time, we also took time out on our weekends to film a movie that we called Impulse. But I've always enjoyed working with movies right from the earliest time. Even years before this, I was shooting, chasing around movies with my friends, always using 8mm in our imagination. Since there wasn't any television at that time when we first started, we actually made our own television with the movies that we made during the summers between the vacation times that we had. So it was a totally enjoyable thing for me and a big part of my life continually. So I just wanted to share those things with you, and I'm going to sign out for right now. Take care.